I think this is going to be a good show, Ryan.
Any art form, painting, poetry, or music.
You feeling it?
Is that they come a dime.
Where do you feel it, Dan?
A dime a dozen.
Anyone can present himself as a primitive.
The primitive.
Quite simply untalented.
Tavern Talk is started. Oh, yeah. Let's begin. Tavern door.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, remember the tavern door?
Oh, yeah. Run your walk. Let's go. What's that, Ryan?
Remember the tavern door?
Oh, I do.
It's coming back.
You have it?
It's coming back.
We haven't had a tavern door in so long.
Here it is. It takes 10 men to open the door.
It's so rusty.
But we are live, ladies and gentlemen and in-betweeners of all ages and all spectrums. Welcome to Tavern Talk, a full spoiler show based on the epic fantasy series, A Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. My name is Ryan, and joining me are Brother Dan and Jansen Lashley Haynes, Hollywood actor extraordinaire, joining us to discuss an important topic. We're carrying on our After the Book series. We dove into the Black Tower, Fourth Age, and now we are going into White Tower, Fourth Age. This is a speculative show, and this is a full spoiler, so everyone be wary. If you've not read the entire episode, please pause the show, read all 14 books, and then come back and join the discussion. We'll be here for you. Hey guys,
how you doing, Jansen?
I'm doing good. Having a hard football day, but that's okay.
Okay, I was okay.
Well, I'm from Cleveland, so you know my woes.
Well, this should. You know what? I'm in Detroit, so I mean, we share the same. But you guys did have that 0-16 season, which was epic.
Yeah. Didn't you guys have one too?
We had back in the 50s, maybe, or something.
We have a consultant who tells us what we should be talking about at each show, and they said we should really pull in the fantasy football demographic. So we hope it works. But seriously though, this is going to be an amazing show. We have some amazing theories about the Fourth Age and the White Tower, and we have some guests who are going to help us dive into all of these theories. Let's bring in the guests. We have Elf Witch and Shansani.
Yay!
No one can see the dancing backstage, but it's amazing.
Yeah, Chancellor is. It's rave time back now.
Yeah,
it's like electric forest in the background.
Welcome to the show, Shansani. Welcome, Elf Witch. Elf Witch, this is your second appearance on the show.
Yes.
Whoa. I'm glad we didn't scare you off with the first show. You did great. It's one of my favorite episodes, so I'm glad you came back. And Shansani, can you even count that high?
Sure.
How many times have you been on our show?
More than once.
More than once. I think this is your fourth. I'm guessing fourth.
If we had a like that Hollywood Squares, Chancellor would be the center square.
OMG.
You would be our Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay, I'll take it. Yeah.
She dominated the center square for like an entire year. What was that all about? Whoopi had
Well, it was her show. I mean, so yeah. I mean, Whoopi for the win.
Wait, she owned Hollywood Square?
I think so. Yeah, I think this was. I think.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You can hire yourself.
So you're talking Hollywood Square 2.0. I was of the age where it was Hollywood Squares like 1.0, and it was what was it? David Lynn or something was the guy in the middle.
Colin.
Colin. Yes.
Yeah.
The guy who was the rat in Charlotte's Web, right?
Yes. Among other things. Yes. And he was brilliant.
He
was bad.
And there was also Madam.
Waylon Flowers and Madam. I remember them vividly. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. That was like one of my first puppet experiences. Actually, was probably Madam and the Muppets,
Wasn't Isaac at the Love Boat on that a couple times?
Oh, I'm sure. Absolutely. Everybody that was ever on any show in the 70s and 80s was on Hollywood Square.
You know where they have craft services, Jansen? They had craft beverages for these game shows. Richard Dawson was on there.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Dawson, who would lay kisses on every female on his show Family Feud, regardless of consent. Regardless of age.
There was no consent. He went for it every time.
How you doing, sweetheart? Mwah.
It was a different time for sure.
Yes, it was.
Further down, we should reconsider our intros.
And just kiss everyone? How you doing?
Like, oh, hey, how'd that felt?
My tongue is a heart.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
Mine's more like a peach.
Gross. I know. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry.
I think you might have an infection there, Brother Dan.
You see some inflammation?
It
Yeah.
hurts when I cough.
All right. Well, let's jump into the actual topic, which is
on that note.
yeah. Let's find some healing for Brother Dan.
yeah, really.
All right. So, fourth age in the Wheel of Time. White Tower.
White Tower, that's it.
Yeah, let's set the scene. Jansen, set the scene. We are 25 years after the breaking. After the last battle.
After the last battle.
Give us the set.
We're in a new realm for the Aes Sedai. A lot of things that they were doing pre-last battle aren't as relevant in the world as it is right now. So each Aja is going to be taking on and leaving certain things and changing. In some instances dramatically, I think. And in other instances, not so much. But let's delve into that. And we can start. I would like to let one of our wonderful guests that we have today. Would you like to pick what would you like to pick? An Aja to talk about first? Would you like to pick the structure of the tower, the political sense, or how the rest of the world sees the tower?
Well, I am Red Aja for life. So whenever we talk about the Red Aja, that's me. So
Okay.
Yeah.
You dressed the part. Thank you.
So where are you after the last battle then, Jansen?
Where are you?
Well, the Red Aja, as far as I'm concerned, is always concerned about misuse of the one power. And in the third age, that chiefly took the form of hunting down and discovering male channelers, because regardless of their intent or their best, desires, male channelers in the third age are just going to become a problem. And the Red Aja is like, well, we're just going to nip that in the bud, and we're going to find them, we're going to neutralize them, and then, it'll be better for everyone if we get to them before they can really do any harm. So in the fourth age, that mandate doesn't change. It's just the target of who they're looking for. And I think the main focus of the Red Aja in the fourth age will be the Shan-Chan, because they are misusing the one power. Skuldam and Damane are not. That is not kosher. That is not the proper use of the one power. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Red Aja are like, all right, let's go get them. We're going to rescue the Damane, and we're going to mess up the world of all the Suldam, and rescue the male channelers in Shan-Chan who are probably still being killed because of social inertia in Shan-Chan.
I think you're absolutely right. I love you coming from that aspect of it, because I completely agree with you, but I also want to kind of elaborate on what I think might happen there. I think, after, centuries, millennium actually, of the Red Aja hunting down men who could channel, I believe that they would be the first people that would change their philosophies in the White Tower. They'd be on the forefront of that. And I think that because of that, and I like that, I always think of little intricacies compared to that. So I think you're right, but I think that they would be in charge of policing all bad channelers around the world. I think that, that is even Pavara Sedai said, she mentioned something like that to Androl. I believe that was in the Gathering Storm, but, not the Gathering Storm. I mean,
Memory of Light.
Memory of Light. Yeah. Memory of Light. But, I think that they would also be doing it side by side with the men that they have bonded. Yep. And I also think, though, that the special bond, the bonding that Pavara and Androl have, I believe that every Red Sister would have that same bonding. And I also think that they wouldn't tell anybody about it.
Oh yeah, like they
I
don't
think
talk about
something that they
stuff.
would do. Yeah, they wouldn't. I think that would be something that was solely some part of the Red Aja.
I can see that.
And I say that because I'm looking forward of how the books would be structured if they were ongoing, because there are we all have our dreams and hopes for some of our most beloved characters, but that's not always going to be the case in the real world or the fictitious world of Randland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's real to us?
Yeah, what's real to us. So I definitely think that their purpose would be to police people who misused the one power. And we have also seen evidence that through Summerhedge, through her POV, that is something that they did in the Age of Legends. They had people who looked for people misusing the power, and she was given a choice to either be having that particular skill taken away, and then she could continue her work, or not having it anymore. So I think that would be something that would definitely be in the Fourth Age for the Red Aja.
So Elfwitch, before we get into the Red Aja question, Jansen brings up a good point in that in his opinion, that the Aja would still be secretive and split.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that would be the case?
It's so ingrained in the tower. It would make sense for that to be that way. However, we have different people coming into the tower and influencing it from outside. We have the kin. We have the Windfinders. We have the Aiel women who can channel. And I'm hoping that the tower has some more openness. It will take generations of tower initiates to make that change happen. And maybe at that time, it will be a struggle between the factions that want to keep the secrets and the factions that want more openness. And so that would be another interesting, interaction between more factions. Like, we need more factions in the tower at this point, but there is this faction that's developing, which started with Egwene and the contact with these other channelers. Okay. My other thought with that is, and maybe this is not as close a relationship as it might be, is with the Aiel transforming into kind of a Grey Aja substitute across nations. Would that have an impact for the Reds going into other nations and taking out certain individuals? Because of course we know the Aiel are all about, what is ethical, and is this an ethical treatment of people, and how would that interact? So good question there going forward.
See, something else I had also mentioned earlier when I talked about how the rest of the world would view the Reds. See, I think that in the Fourth Age, the Red Aja would have a very, very, very different look from everyday people. I think they would be more trusted. I think they would be more liked than a lot of the Ajas, changing because people knew they were the ones to protect them from evil or bad. I think they would actually have a difference, because now, well, at least in the Third Age, people look at Red Aja and they're scared of them. No matter who they are, they're like, oh, that's a Red Aja. I don't want to be anywhere near her. I think that people would embrace them for being protectors, like some do the police.
And I think that the connection with the Black Tower and the perception of the Black Tower is going to make a big difference, because we have this very intimate connection between Andral and Tavara. And so I'm hoping that something like an investigation into bringing forth the potential of linking and telling the Black Tower what the White Tower has been able to do and how can you perform those functions in your way, that kind of investigation and study hopefully will give more, good stuff for the people of the world to see.
Oh, I think you'd see a lot. And you'd also have to consider that they would be tremendous channelers because of the bonds that they have with they'd be able to do the same. They'd be able to not only do their talents, but they're bonded like mates' talents too. Because we saw that happen with Pavara and Andral. She used his talent to open up the gateway. Yeah. So they would be and you know how different Ajas have different weaves that they use and different secrets they keep from the other ones. That would be, they're the Red, they would still be the Red. Yeah. So I think
And
I
to
think
me,
they'd be
like
hell-
the Red Aja are the ones like I don't really see them like the police because they're not keeping the peace. Like they don't really care about what non-channelers are doing. They're not
True.
like if they come into your town, they're not going to be in your business. They're like,
Yeah,
all right,
that's true.
where's the rogue channelers? That's all we care about. They're more like Navy SEALs or
You're
something
right.
like
They're
that.
very, very aloof from everyone else. You're
Well,
absolutely
and yeah,
They're targeted.
well, they have a specific task that they do. They are looking for specific wrongdoers of the specific type that
Definitely.
they handle. Because like
Yeah,
all that
they would
other
be-
stuff, they're like,
Yeah, they would be high up police. You're absolutely right.
They're not Navy. They're the Scarlet Seals, or
Yeah.
like CIA, even like
the
you know,
Crimson Seals.
But I
like-
also think that with sisters like Pavara and Silviana, that like all of the bad stuff from the Elida period is going to be like, well, we're not doing that anymore. You know,
Yeah.
like we need to turn a page and turn it very emphatically so that people know that we are not like Elida was, and we are going in a totally different direction. I think they are going to work very closely with the Black Tower. Them and the Greens are both going to work very closely with the Black Tower, because once they see the benefits, which Pavara will be very vocal about, they'll be like, yes, let's do that. Let's get these guys on board, more help, you know, and they will realize that a lot of the things that they will want to do, they're going to need some heavy hitters, and that means Black Tower.
yeah.
Well, so Jansen, you had suggested this. This means that the tradition of Reds not having warders is no longer a thing.
Well,
I believe-
they're not warders at that point.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, I believe their bylaws. Well, even the head of the Red, right before the last battle, they said, you know, she told Pavara that, you know, Reds will now bond warders, but only ones that can channel. So the Reds would only bond men that could channel. That's one of the things it would be. It's just like Greens can bond more than one man. You know, every Aja has their own rules.
And at that point, is it even a warder? Because-
Yeah, at that point, yeah, it's something
It's a
else.
different bond. It's a different
it's
bond. It's not
it's
a
something
border
else. And how, you know, Aes Sedai-esque of the White Tower Aja to have something like that to themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like definitely an extremely powerful tool that they kept to themselves. Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you guys: if the Red then are Shanchin based or focused, or Shara based or focused, or even Sea Folk based or focused, what could we not do this in a more diplomatic way, which is actually another Aja?
Oh, the Greys, they're useless.
No,
I mean, wouldn't they be the ones to demonstrate, to bring male channelers with them and be like, no, he's safe.
No, I think the Aes Sedai would use the Sea Folk, the Aiel, and the Kin as people lower than them to do their bidding as far as channelers on the, and you know, when you need an abundance of channelers or something. You forget that before Egwene did make a pact with the Wise Ones and with the Sea Folk. So they're going to be working extensively together for a very long time now because they're all training each other.
I think
So then
25
who
years might
is
not-
going to be the recruitment
Greys.
arm? The Greys, yes.
Yeah, it would have to be the Greys. That would.
And would it be in collaboration with the Black Tower, or would it be entirely separate?
No, the Greys would be in collaboration with everybody because they don't take a stand on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm hearing some audio issues. Is anyone else?
Yeah, I am. I'm hearing some.
Is that me? I don't think so.
I'm not. Elfwitch, what were you? You were going to say something just a second ago.
I don't remember.
It's okay. It's
That's
okay.
all right.
I
We
100% relate to that.
It's my fault. But as far as I would think that that recruitment would now be a major component of the White Tower that it was not before. I mean, in fact, they were concerned in turning people away.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that they would even have to recruit much as far as the whole world knowing what Egwene did by opening it up to anyone. You know, she made the statement to herself that the White Tower was way too weak to not to turn away any source of strength. And they found that in Sharina Malloy, who is going to be probably the most powerful Aes Sedai that there is of the Fourth Age. As soon as she, becomes an Aes Sedai. And I've got to be sure that by 25 years after the last battle, I'm sure she is, and has been for a while by now.
And she'll be on par with Olivia.
Well, that's it, but we don't know if Olivia... Well, yeah, Cadsuane would never let Olivia go.
No.
You're right. She would never let her go.
No.
You're absolutely right. You're right. She would become an Aes Sedai, definitely.
Cadsuane's going to rickroll Olivia.
Yeah.
Nice. Yep. Never gonna give you up.
You're right.
So what do you think, Elfwitch? What do you think the tower's population? I mean, is it going to remain about what it is, or is it going to just explode with people?
I think it's going to explode. I mean, a lot of the kin are going to join because they can now. They've been looking up to the White Tower for years and years, and with the opening of the book, they already have more novices than they have Aes Sedai when the last battle happens.
1/10 of the two rivers will be there. Literally.
Yeah, really.
And I think they will have men at the White Tower as well.
I think
go on.
Well, because the White Tower, the Aes Sedai used to be a co-ed organization for an age. And
True.
There's no reason why it couldn't be again. There's no reason why the Black Tower couldn't also be a co-ed organization. And I see the red and the black, the Red Aja and the Black Tower, their connection being the bridge that sort of brings people back and forth. I can see people being members of both towers.
I've been talking about this Grey Tower thing this whole time, Shant. I'm really glad you mentioned that. What were you going to say, Elf? I'm sorry.
Well, you've got a lot of women who are channelers, kin, windfinders who are married. And so you're going to have people who are not able to channel, who are going to be closely associated with the tower, and they will fulfill tower functions that the actual Aes Sedai don't have time to, or just regular functions that need to happen. I mean, they've got the tower guard and they've got things like that, but these are going to be close relationships from Aes Sedai.
Very
that will be part of the tower. I'm trying to think of a non-religious term. I mean, secular, if you want to put it in religious terms, but that's not. I don't want to go there.
Well, no, I hear what you're saying. And if you, why wouldn't the White Tower? I mean, for lack of a more discreet term, why wouldn't they want to have a breeding program of some sorts?
I don't think it's going to be about that at all.
Why wouldn't there be a genetics?
Well, that's eugenics, and I don't think that would be the thing.
Why wouldn't they?
It's going to happen naturally.
Well, and I don't think it's going to be about that because that's future planning. That's as far as the day-to-day of what's happening, in the world at that moment that people have to deal with in that moment, having a strong relationship with male channelers is going to be of a benefit. And once Cadsuane is gone, everyone's going to realize that, and the doors will swing wide open, because I don't think while Cadsuane is there that things will happen. She's not very progressive, she's a whole other conversation. But
you're talking 25 years after, and if you have women coming in who are married, who may or may not have children, and other women come in and they see that they can have a marriage, it's not frowned upon. I mean, and we can talk also about how degraded the White Tower has been through the influence of the Forsaken through the Third Age, where, the whole partnership was completely looked down upon to the point where Aes Sedai never even had children, where you have to pass along the genes. And disallowing passage of genes of strong channelers was something that the influence of the Dark Tower had happened. So now you have a turnaround where they can they can have children, they can have families. And yes, they're going to outlive their children and their families. They're going to know that going in, but then they can also have children who are channelers. And you would have perhaps families who can work together going to the future. I mean, 25 years after isn't enough time for that all to develop, but it has potential now.
I mean,
maybe Cadsuane will be dead.
Rand's kids were able to channel right off the bat. Rand's kids were able to channel, boom, right there. But that was the only time that we really know of two channelers breeding.
Well, you have to consider a couple of things when you guys talk about this as well. Because I believe that the Aes Sedai, a lot of what they do is reactionary as far as the world is concerned. And we have some things from the text itself that says exactly what some things are going to be like. And when you look at the Black Tower, if you remember what Min said, Logain is going to have glory such as few men have ever seen.
Right.
So that means that the Black Tower, I don't believe there's going to be a Gray Tower. The Black Tower, just like Andrel said, are going to be their own men. And I think they're going to be a very large force in the world. But I also believe that the White Tower is going to be able to be their equals. So they're going to be the same. But I think there's going to definitely be, at least for some Ajas, a very specific line between them and the men. I definitely believe that. I think that they're going to, especially 25 years in, there's definitely going to be a lot of women in the White Tower who are very wary of going over to the Black Tower, and a lot. It's going to take
all the ones that had to swear fealty to Mazrim Taim will certainly feel that way.
Yes, and how many of those are still alive?
A not insignificant number, I imagine.
So let me the Black Aja, with the retaining of the Dark One within the world, we assume that the Black Aja will still be a thing. We assume Dark Friends will still be if you have an A or a B, some people are going to choose B. That's just the way it is. Will the White Tower adapt, acknowledge that this is a danger to the institution, and have an Aja dedicated to rooting out Dark Friends within their midst?
Red Aja. If they're channelers, it's Red Aja. If they're not channelers, let the Greens handle it.
Yeah, exactly. I said I think that might go over to the Green, because they're going to have to find new purpose. Them saying that they are staying ready for Tarman Gaiden isn't really upholding right now, so they're going to have to change.
Well, and they never were. Greens are terrible.
They're definitely wily.
Greens are terrible.
Yeah.
Elfwitch, what do you think?
Well, I think that the influence of the Black Aja against the effectiveness of the White Tower has been so strong that all the Ajas are just depleted, and the Greens, they really didn't do what they kept saying they were for. I like the idea of the Reds and Greens working together to fight against the slavery that the Shanshan has the channelers under. I think that could be really effective, because there's just, I know there's more Reds than any other Aja, but they're going to need help. And the Greens supposedly are going to be able to give them that help. In terms of
the Greens shifted from Battle Aja to Polyamory Aja.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't, they should have been at the Blight. Like, every Green should have served at the Blight. There should have been Greens in...
There should have been 30 of them in Shinar. There should have been some in Malkir. There should have been, there should have been battling protecting the gap.
The yellow should have had hospitals. The brown should have had academies.
Well, that's
all of that. All of that. So
the only ones who did their job were the Reds.
Yeah, the only ones with a clear mission were the
Which
Reds.
was like one a generation. How many?
Wait a second. Moraine and Swan saved the world.
Yeah,
Come
the
on.
Blues did.
The Blues, you can't.
Two Blues. The rest of them, what good did Elaine accomplish?
There were a couple of Browns. There were a couple of Browns that did their job pretty well.
There were some Browns that did it, but the Browns' job is very specific. The White Aja's job is very specific. And they did their jobs, but their jobs are okay, well, so you're a librarian. Okay, great. That's good for you. I'm very happy for you. You're a logician. Okay, you're a think tank. Great. That's not helpful.
That's science.
Well, it didn't prove to be helpful, but it could have been. I almost feel like Robert Jordan just didn't flesh that out enough.
Yeah,
Like,
it really wasn't.
The Browns, their job was to provide the world with knowledge. Varen said was very specific about that, and that was their job, you know. And like she was the greatest at doing exactly what she said. You know, she provided the world with knowledge that changed the world, and you know that's like Varen was awesome.
Well, if every brown Aja was like Varen, I would have a very different view of the brown Aja as a whole.
That's part of my larger point with the depletion of the effectiveness of the tower is I think the people in the tower just aren't the half of the population that are really smart. Just because you channel doesn't mean you're really intelligent, and doesn't mean that you can motivate people and that you can have a larger vision. And so they just didn't have the really smart people in the tower. And so having that ambition and having that drive going forward. And then if somebody did get in there that was really smart and started to have effectiveness, the Black Aja would take them out. So they really were.
Well, that's a good point.
Well, everyone with half a brain got out of the tower as soon as they could, like Moraine. It's like, I'm out of here.
Well, like, forget that.
Real quickly, let's go back to the Brown real quick, and I want to bring up a point. Like maybe the Browns were just limited in the actual tomes and works that they can study. And Jansen and I were talking, and Jansen says there's an artifact that the Browns might be able to use to actually come into prominence. Jansen, why don't you get into that?
Well, when they were in Abu Dar and Elaine and Nynaeve and Avienda, they found the cache of ter'angreal. The trove of just everything. And then that coupled with the fact when they got it back to Camelin, Avienda found out that she had a gift, and one of her talents was being able to recognize and use ter'angreal. She found the fiction, non-fiction ter'angreal, which had hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of knowledge from the Age of Legends. Essentially, they found the Age of Legends internet.
It was a Kindle,
They literally found it. And it was also explained later in I believe it was A Memory of Light by Egwene's POV that the tower was at an uproar over that artifact because everybody wanted it, like to see it and use it because of the vast knowledge that was in it. That alone is going to change everything as far as the brown Aja is concerned.
I have a real life connection with this. I spoke to my sister 2 days ago, and she just sent her daughter off to have her first job across the country. And she told her daughter, you've got to get into the library system where you're at, because I want you to sign up, and then you give me your sign up for this library at a larger city so that I can get all the audiobook downloads. So my sister has her library has 15,000 audiobooks. But her daughter's library has 60,000 audio library books. And my sister is just like, you have to sign up so I can get access to all of these books. It's a huge, huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're going back. They're going to be able to jump hundreds of years ahead by just about all the knowledge from the Age of Legends that they have in that one artifact.
Elfwitch, are you brown? I'm sorry, are you brown, Elfwitch?
You know, if I had to pick, I probably would pick brown because I'm like a scientist and I read so much by nature. I read nonfiction and science books and I get fascinated by all this stuff. So yeah. Probably.
Amazing. Yes. Awesome.
I'm a trained pharmacist, so I probably should be yellow, but nah.
Nah. Yellows are useless.
Well, in the third age, but that's a good segue. Are yellows useless in the fourth age?
I don't think so.
Learn. They're
no way.
They've got.
Talk to me, self.
I believe that the yellow are going to be working extensively with the kin in Camelin and also in other towns and other cities because they're going to have hospitals. And I believe the yellows are going to be the heads of these hospitals. I believe that there may be a few places where there's not a yellow sister who's running a hospital, like possibly one of the kin might be running the one in Camelin because of their vast knowledge. And the one in Tyr may be ran by a man because they had hedge doctors there for years. And
I can't wait to see House Sedai, that TV show. It's going to be great.
House MD Sedai.
House MD Sedai.
Yeah. Where he's like,
love
she walks in. It's like this woman. She's like, hey, you're pretty ugly. She's like, is that the way you talk to me? And he's like, yeah, that's the way I do. Give me some Vicodin. Hey,
give me some Vicodin. Yeah, everyone lies.
Now I'm picturing Hugh Laurie as a yellow sister.
Hugh Laurie is like yellow red. He's orange.
He would exclusively use the old weave where everybody feels like they're dunked in ice water. That's the only weave he would use.
You're right.
You know what? But
Nice.
now that I'm thinking of it, Hugh Laurie, that persona in House may be the way that we can relate to every Aes Sedai that we read about. Like when you walk into a room and just imagine a bunch of Hugh Lauries from House looking at you as you walk in a room. I mean, yeah, gosh, that's actually working for me, right?
See, I see Jurg Grady, a hobbled, one-armed, like guy in a wheelchair running a hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. You know?
With Laura Croft playing in the background.
Oh my gosh. We were talking a minute ago or a little bit ago about the Grey Aja doing recruitment and then the hedge doctor thing. So every person who has the weeds put up on their door or anybody who can, read the wind, those are the people that Grey Aja should target to see if they can channel to go directly into Yellow Aja from there. So those would be, a recruitment tactic to see who has been the village healer in a secular manner.
Wise
I believe that a lot of Grey Aja work would be some of the things that they did in the regular books. I think most monarchs would have a Grey Aja Aes Sedai advisor.
It would be nice if the Grey Aja finally had something useful to do.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. You're right. I agree with you. And Honora was she tried. Honora tried. So I do think that because I do, as someone who loves to travel along with my wife and my kids and travel a lot and have traveled, I do love the idea of them being ambassadors to the world. I love that, and I think that's something that they could expand on in the Fourth Age. Because if you think about it, especially with new cities and new things coming up, the Waste, where Shalgul was, Malkir, all those lands and areas are going to start filling up with new things, They're about to build a railroad across the country. We saw that from Avienda's. Yes. There's so many things that are about to happen. And who's going to be at the forefront of that? There are going to be different Ajas working on some of those huge, great things that are about to start happening.
Mm-hmm. Didn't the blight recede a great deal?
It's gone for the most part, isn't it?
Yeah. So what we've been talking about, though, guys, is a much different White Tower. We are talking about a White Tower that is expanding. That we have the red going over to Shanshan. We have the gray going and doing recruitment. We have the yellow going and doing healing. Are we imagining a White Tower outposts everywhere that has a recruitment center, perhaps has a hospital, perhaps has, I don't know, a cafeteria?
I don't know that they necessarily need to have outposts. Every sister is an outpost, as far as I'm concerned. Every sister is an ambassador. Yes. I don't think they need to necessarily go in and build new infrastructure. They just need to go and see what infrastructure is there and offer what help they have to offer. Okay. But isn't that a little inefficient to still have these individuals just wandering through villages looking for shit? Or couldn't you just stake something and say, and just put up a neon sign?
Well, it depends on the leadership. It depends on how Cadsuane directs them to become a more cohesive unit. She doesn't like the infighting. She doesn't like the way that people kowtow to others and the way
unless they kowtow to her.
Well, she wants to be respected for her own intelligence. That's her thing. But she doesn't want people to be completely kowtowed. She likes to hear people that have a little bit of spirit. So you got to have your own opinion. You got to be able to defend your opinion.
And she also likes people to innovate. She actually, I can quote her by saying one of the things that really disturbed her while New Sisters failed to innovate with the power, failed to even try small things that could change and do things. That's how she invented the box that
What's in the box?
What's in the box? The box that had the Terran Grail in it that she thought was impenetrable,
and she thought wrong. Let's talk about Cadsuane's hubris and the cost of that hubris.
All right, so I put a post up on YouTube and I asked.
That said yes or no. I voted yes, Ryan.
Yeah,
No.
That was a mistake. The new poll asked, will Cadsuane make for a great Amyrlin? All right, so we have 16 votes. I'm going to end the poll in 30 seconds. If you have not had a chance, your voice is important. Yes.
In the meantime, traveling makes outposts less problematic. And so I can imagine in my head that the yellows have like an ambulance service that just gateway to their room. The yellows don't have to necessarily go. They can have people who know how to make gateways. Maybe some of the Black Tower are like the ambulance crew, and they just and
so
you're instantly at the hospital.
You're suggesting that the standing flows are coming back.
I totally am. What is that? I'm sorry. What does that mean?
What is that?
Oh,
that was an old breakdance move we learned from Electric Boogaloo,
The
Dan.
standing flows.
The standing flows. We got this from Alvieren's POV from talking to Masana about the standing flows that they used to have in the Age of Legends, where every person alive in the city could use the one power by pressing a button, like going up an elevator and doing things like that. And that is how they would call people and do things like,
Snap.
So I think the standing flows, which would absolutely be in the Terran Grail artifact that they found, would probably be back.
I don't see why not.
Like they might be servants of all indeed if they have that kind of thing happening for all people to use.
Yeah. I think they'd be finding a lot more about how Aes Sedai used to be as well, and maybe even coming back to some of those old forms and old things that they used to have.
We are going to have. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, wait, let's just kill this. Let's kick this tiger. Will Cadsuane make for a great Amyrlin? Resounding no. 56% of the votes said no. She will not make for a great Amyrlin.
That's resounding.
That is
resounding enough.
Well, yeah. I feel like Chancey's in the corner battling her way out. She's got really kind of weak arguments.
Was there anyone else?
I think that chat's really helping her out. Go on. What, Jansen? Sorry.
There's only one person who could have been Amyrlin besides Cadsuane at the end of these books. That would have been Sylviana.
Nynaeve.
Sylviana
would. I think that would have been a great choice.
Yeah, Nynaeve is a terrible idea.
She was the Biden. She was the the Mike Pence.
Nynaeve is going to be the Queen of Malkir. She has no time, and probably the head of the Yellow Aja. So we don't have to.
And Nynaeve does not want. She doesn't even like being a nice.
She don't want that smoke. Okay, so wait. Let's talk. After Cadsuane. So post Cadsuane, who's the next Amyrlin?
It might even be somebody like Sharina Malloy. We don't know.
Malloy, but I think Sharina Malloy. I think Cadsuane might pick her as the Mistress of Novices. Perfect Mistress of Novices.
She's got a good spanking arm?
Yeah, well, the Mistress of Novices is a very powerful position in the White Tower, and with as many novices as they have now, and how she was able to get them coordinated so quickly and handed to, I think, and they already look up to her. Egwene looked up to her. Everyone looked up to her as the perfect novice, and how powerful she's going to be. When she becomes an Aes Sedai, she could basically say what she wanted to be and be it anyway. But I think that Cadsuane would look at her and put her in charge of all of them.
But I think once Cadsuane's out of the picture, she's a lock for Amyrlin.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think Cadsuane is probably the most vital figure in this beginning of the Fourth Age.
Well, in a bad way, for sure.
Well, yeah, we assume that, but it's, gosh, I mean, if she honestly, if she fucks this up, then the White Tower does not have a solid foothold at all. They are still back in the Stone Ages.
No, I think that the White Tower will succeed in spite of Cadsuane, because like Cadsuane is pretty easy to manipulate because
they also have a lane.
Yeah.
They have a lane.
Yeah.
You know, for the next like 600 years, they have a lane. So,
but Elaine is obviously biased because charge of Elaine has a slant, and it's hard to. So that's why she, to a certain degree, that's why she wasn't Amyrlin, because she has duties elsewhere. And by the way, she gave birth to the dragon's twins. You know, and she has her own magical babies to raise.
Yeah. Luke and Leia.
Well, they'll be 25 by the time she is, you know, we're talking 25 years after, and she will be around for another 600 years. So she'll be able to have influence, and she's got so much more leadership skills than almost any other Aes Sedai coming into the picture.
They would never make her Amyrlin.
Yeah.
Way too much power.
She would have to give up being Queen of Andor.
I can see her doing that, Chance. I could see her rescinding her throne, yielding it to one of her children, and being the Amyrlin after Cadsuane.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, she's a terrible Amyrlin.
Different phases of life, so she could enjoy being queen for 50 or 100 years, and then say, okay, now I want to take my leadership skills and apply it to my sisters. And so there's potential there. Might not be right away, but there's potential there. The leadership skills in the tower are very few and far between. And so anything that helps with getting groups to act together and have a goal and move towards that goal together, anything that helps with that is going to be beneficial to the tower.
Which is not Cadsuane.
Right. It's actually to that point. I put a poll up.
Free your mind, and the rest will follow.
Yeah, I put a poll up. Will there be spanking in the Fourth Age White Tower? That poll is live.
Sure. Yes. Hello.
Well, I mean, we're talking. I mean, have we learned one lesson?
I would like to think no. I'm going to vote no.
Well, some traditions die much more difficult than others.
Like, so spanking's not really about the tradition; it's about the spanking.
In a world of channelers, I think I'd take the spanking.
Right.
Now, I think that leads to one of the points of discussion I want to bring up would be what lessons have the White Tower learned, and what fundamental changes are they going to carry forward, knowing that one, if they, well, actually, let me hone it down and be more specific. The Oath Rod. Well, the White Tower. My theory is that the White Tower will renounce the Oath Rod.
Not mine.
With the knowledge that they can double their lifespan.
Well, here's the thing. I think that the White Tower will change the way the Oath Rod is used, because I think that the Oath Rod has a very specific purpose. No, hear me out. Like, I think the Oath Rod has a specific purpose, but that purpose is situational. So the Oath Rod will be used situationally, and then the oaths will be removed. So, like, I see the Oath Rod becoming a tool of the Grey Asha. Like, you take the Oath Rod with you to negotiations. You have all the channelers swear to tell the truth, all the truth, nothing but the truth. And then once the negotiations are done, everybody releases themselves from the oaths and goes about their day. And so there's no side effects, but you still get the benefit of everyone in the room knowing that you told the truth and they saw you swear it.
So used as in the court of law, as it were.
Pretty much.
I have to concede, this is a way better one than I thought of. Definitely.
Yeah, that's crazy. I got temporary. Okay.
How do you remove yourself from the oath?
You just use the Oath Rod again.
Yeah, they just
say psych.
No,
they put their hands up and they say, "I never meant it." Psych.
No, it's the same way that the Oath Rod was used for the Black Aja to, like. I
now promise I will lie. I will use the one power. Yeah, I will.
No, that's no.
There are takebacks.
Oh no, yeah,
Catsuane
I
said-
guess if you say, all right,
Dan,
for the next
Dan,
hour, I won't lie.
No, you just say, I forsake all the oaths that bind me, and you're done.
Elfwitch, what were you saying?
Bob's your uncle.
Well, will they root out the people that are Black Aja the way that our little fan club did just before the last battle? After the last battle,
Only in Shanshan territories.
Why not everywhere?
why not
Because,
everywhere?
like, they're not going to do that's against.
Why not
people's
say, hey,
beliefs.
sorry, this is
They're going to
protocol. We
line
need it.
everybody up and say, hey, are you a dark friend or not? And
Yeah.
kill them.
It's like a metal detector getting into court.
I
Yeah.
mean, this goes along. Well, here's the thing. You have to remember what Robert Jordan's message was. Choice. Everybody has a choice.
Uh-huh.
If you take away everybody and kill them all, then there's no more book. Like, so we might as well forget to talk. I mean, there's always got to be conflict, man. Like, so if we're talking about reading another book going into the Fourth Age, there's going to be conflict and things that happen, and
Isn't that what we're
everybody's
talking
not
about?
going to.
And there's
Everybody's
ways
not
to
gonna be
beat
good.
the Oath Rod. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
everybody's not going to be good.
and there will be a MacGuffin. It's like, oh, well, I use this Terrio to like be able to lie under the influence.
I
of
had a
the-
ring.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I have
MacGuffin, nice.
a paralysis net that has a anti-Oath Rod gizmo. So whatever.
Yeah,
One
but
day,
go ahead.
the Shadow will find a way to get back into the White Tower one day.
Oh yeah.
You know, it will. It'll just
three-
be a different.
Will it
The
be
wheel
through?
weaves
Will it
the
be
wheel.
through Cadsuane, Shansani?
Probably because she's terrible.
Yeah. See,
She is terrible.
you're
She's
blinded
smart
with
enough.
hate.
Yeah.
I think she's smart enough where other people don't know her motivations, and because she's been in this situation where there's so little trust that if people don't know your motivation, they automatically distrust. But if she's a little more open and she's smart enough to get some leadership skills, then I think that she could become an Amyrlin that will start to reconstruct the White Tower in this new world, because we've got a whole new world we're dealing with.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay a stake now. I think Cadsuane will make a great Amyrlin. I think the sadness will be that she's too old to live it out. She's like older. She's like a, I'm not gonna compare her to Biden.
She'll
No.
do it for a time, but then she'll quit. She'll do it for a generation, 20,
Well,
25
how much-
years, and then she'll
yeah.
pass it on.
Listen,
she's
man.
already old by Third Age Aes Sedai standards, so
Yes,
she's going to
exactly.
croak very
If she
soon.
relinquished the Oath Rod, could she live longer?
She won't
Yes.
do that.
I want to live longer.
She won't do
Yeah.
it.
She'll
No,
die in
I-
ice.
Won't
Wait,
do it.
like so why wouldn't the Aes Sedai just be like, you know what, that whole idea was bunk, and they just stopped doing it? The whole idea of the Oath Rod was to like engender trust. Well, like engender trust.
We
by
are,
doing-
yes, Ryan.
Wait, brother Dan, engender trust by doing good things. Engender trust by giving to the poor. Engender trust by healing people. Engender trust by like not.
Yeah.
Don't engender trust by conniving through politics.
I
Once the White
promise I ain't
Tower,
lying.
once the White Tower relinquishes politics altogether, they won't need the Oath
Cadsuane
Rod.
is not that visionary. She is a product of her time. She will never
agree with
release
that, too.
herself
I
from
would've-
the Oath Rod.
I would have loved to see.
All right,
an
another poll's coming.
So
would've
yes, in 25 years, you're probably right. But I can't imagine. I mean, we saw that the Oath Rod was used to ferret out Dark Friends. I could see that would be its use. It would be an internal use as opposed to an external world use, saying, well, we promised we wouldn't use the one power. You know what? Sometimes it's needed, and you got to trust us or don't trust us. I think, I don't know.
Well, I
mean,
think
like-
with the Black Tower in the mix, people's mistrust of the White Tower, that target gets a lot smaller.
Yeah, because exposure.
Well,
Like,
there's still the lingering idea of male channelers. There is 3 millennia of.
You're right about that. Yeah,
trauma.
Yeah, but we saw in
regarding
text
male
at the end of the books that was changing right in front of Logain's eyes.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
right.
It's
The
gonna
Black
be
Tower
different.
don't have it.
But that's just the beginnings of change. Like that's
All right,
just
yeah.
like there's still going to be lots of people that will never in their lifetime trust male channelers.
and apparently, one of the things that are not going to change, Chat thinks that spanking will still be a thing in the White Tower.
Oh, for sure.
Why? Do you think they're gonna have a 700-year-old kin woman and just bend her down and spank her ass? She's gonna fucking abide by that? I think they have to change.
Is not aggressive. Cadsuane will not change.
I don't see Olivia getting spanked.
Oh,
it's not going to happen. No, it'll be like a revolt. Like a woman's going to stand up to another woman and be like, "Fucking don't."
I'm with you, Ryan. There is not going to be a Sherium study. A Windfinder is not going to get spanked for talking to her.
Not running fast enough to like get a fucking.
Yikes, no way.
So are the Windfinders going to hang women up by their ankles?
Chick has tattoos. There's no way she's getting spanked.
Well, I mean, hey. Well, what women? Like, are they hanging up channeling women? Or are they hanging up, like, what do you mean? Like, when you're hanging up women?
Don't you remember the Sea Folk
punishment? I don't remember anything, Jansen. I'm a puppet.
Oh, my goodness. The Sea Folk punishment is to be hung up by your ankles by the mast and beaten.
Yeah, no, you're right, yeah.
And this is shitty, right? I mean, we all say this is shitty.
No, but this is like any institution, but like the White Tower proved to be an utter failure in the Third Age.
True.
Inertia.
I believe that, but like if the breaking is going to actually be a breaking, there has to be a fundamental changes all over the board. Why would we think the White Tower is not going to change? Like,
it will change, but it's going to take generations. It's going to take more than 25 years.
Yeah, we're talking about 25 years about an entity that's gone on for thousands.
I would argue that the change point would happen literally after the last battle, the first convening of the White Tower. Things are going to change fundamentally from that moment forward.
Not with Cadsuane.
Oh, you and their
move your mic closer, Jansen.
I believe
Jansen, move that mic closer. You like shove it in your mouth. There you go.
There.
I believe things would change.
Oh, yes.
But I think that with the relationship that Cadsuane has with Sorelia, I think that would change Cadsuane as well. She has a new insight, and she
already did.
You know, yeah, but she has somebody that Cadsuane herself said she saw as an equal. And she respected Sorelia more than anyone in the entire book, and listened to what she said. So I think with the Aiel presence now in the world, which is going to be a very large presence, the Aes Sedai would definitely be dealing with them as well. Cadsuane with Sorelia more than anyone else.
Cadsuane seemed to very much appreciate how the Wise Ones were training them. And
Sorelia was like Cadsuane. It was like Aiel Cadsuane.
Yeah,
but the Aiel are a giant failure too. Let's be real. Like the Aiel. Like everyone's like, so Aiel, but they're a failure. Like they broke their oaths to the Way of the Leaf, name of this channel.
I know. It's a sore spot. It's a sore spot.
And they betrayed the Aes Sedai. Like they betrayed every oath they ever took. So,
but you have to
why wouldn't they do the same thing again?
It was a corrupted oath to begin with.
I disagree that they were a failure because in at least 5 different times they can quote it. They were considered a tool by themselves and everyone else. And the tool that they were used was used the right way. They helped. They
succeeded by accident. But let me tell you 2 things about the Aiel really quick. That is why I
break it down.
Okay. The Aiel War, the Laman Sin, the Battle of the Shining Walls, all of that was because the Aiel refused to use any kind of diplomacy or even tell the people of the Westlands why they were invading. It's like, hey, hand over this dude Laman and we'll chill. We'll go back to the threefold plan. They didn't do that. They were like, all right, we're just going to keep going till we find him and then kill him. Never tried any kind of a diplomatic solution. Number 2, their solution to male channelers in the threefold land. Send them up to the Blight. It's like, I wonder what bad thing can happen. Like these people have access to Roidion and all of the future telling Terangil there, and they don't know that that's really a bad idea. Like that is like, you cannot call yourselves wise ones as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, snap. All right. So I understand that is like some of the most weird, primitive kind of arcane brutality that like sending off young boys to just fend themselves off. But
and never check to make sure that they get killed.
Is it rational to think that they are literally just being scooped up like a Zamboni?
Yeah, they're literally just like, oh, look, new male channelers to join our army of evil Aiel.
I'm not saying that I agree with you, but talking about this from your standpoint, then Avienda turning on the Terangriel and Roniel to the third time changes everything you just said. Because it gives them a glimpse into the future to help them change what is being happened instead of just looking into the past.
Why was she the first one to ever do that?
Because it was forbidden.
But why was it forbidden?
Because I thought they would die.
The Aes Sedai who brought all those Terangriel there told them that.
But like they also disobey those Aes Sedai in other ways. So it's like, and that's my problem with Cadsuane too. It's like her whole thing with Semiraj shows why she's a dumbass. You know, like she obeyed Rand by letting Semiraj stay alive, and then she disobeyed Rand by keeping the domination ban. And those two decisions is why Rand almost murdered Min. Womp, womp, womp. You know, so like that's part of my like. Cadsuane doesn't know everything. She thinks she does, but she doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. The domination ban. She was not supposed to like get rid of it. Rand, I quote Rand said, "I told you to keep these safe," and he said, "Safe enough." So I mean, and believe me, I agree with you. She screwed up there, but
she should have killed Semiraj, is what I'm saying. There was no reason.
Okay, yeah, but so many people should have killed some other people. Like that's a trope in this book.
I would have
like,
killed all of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly, like that's why we're not in person. We're live on Zoom. I feel safe.
Come on,
Alfwitch, you had your hand raised. Did you remember what you were trying to say, or did we move past it? I'm so sorry.
It was kind of what Jansen was saying, that they didn't know the future, so they just figured everybody that goes to the Blight gets killed, and they didn't think of the consequences of what could happen when channelers go to the Blight. They don't get killed. They didn't know that, but they couldn't.
I know, but Shancy, like, but they. Yeah.
And even seeing your future, and this is probably why they were told not to go through the crystal a third time. Seeing your future can be mind destroying. I mean,
they told you. Yeah, they said that it
destroyed people's minds.
Well, seeing the past destroyed people's minds.
It's very potentially bad in a personal way.
Yeah.
And so I can see why they were instructed not to do that. And then they didn't have the benefit of that future knowledge. Foreknowledge is not something.
They also had the redstone doorway. They could talk to the Finn. Trust in the Finn, as my freaking song parody goes. But like, you know, they could have done that. Like they had other assets, all those Sangreal and Terangreal and Ungreal in Meridian, and they didn't
have access to the doorways.
Yes, the doorway was there. It was in Meridian.
We don't know if anybody went into those or not.
No,
but they probably didn't because they were told not to.
Matt was never having knowledge of an Aiel in his memory. So I don't think that they went through those doorways.
Which just shows how hidebound they are, how just paralyzed by tradition.
So Sean, so what I'm hearing from you is like, as if we were to like, we land on America and and we meet some Native Americans and we're like, oh man, they're really spiritual, they're really advancing in other ways, but they don't know about polio. Here's some blankets. Look at them, they all die. Ha ha ha. They don't know about this. You know, like you're not. I don't think you're like taking the Aiel in context. I think you're analyzing them from like a Google Earth and analysis point. I don't think that's fair. Like they have been able to develop beyond the Aes Sedai in certain ways, and yes, they are paralyzed and crippled in other ways, and these are valid criticisms, but like to say that they're all dumb and they're all this or all that, I don't think that's fair, because they've obviously shown that they're more advanced in these other ways, and I think that balancing...
Are they though? In what ways? What ways are they more advanced than other people?
Well,
and their abuse of people?
I can give you one right now. I quote Egwene.
Yep.
She helped them more with leadership than anyone in the White Tower ever did.
Yes.
And that is one of the reasons why she wanted the best of the accepted to go train with the
Well, we talk about spanking. Let's talk about Aiel discipline. Like they are just as brutal, if not more so, than the White Tower when it comes.
Very more so.
But there's something about putting hands on someone. Right, like it's just like go run 50 laps as opposed to let me like band you down.
Yeah, no, they shaved a woman.
But they don't put hands on each. Well, that happens.
And it's humiliation. They use humiliation.
Oh no, they do put hands on. At least Shido did.
All right, so
They
and so
shaved a woman.
and to a broader point, I would argue, yes, you are accurate
Not
in
with a
every
pick.
way. This age that we're reading about, this age that Rand is plopped into, is pathetic in every way. They're missing the point in every way. They have access to so many amazing things and they just let hubris, ego, and politics get in the way. And I think that is the lesson.
Well, everyone does.
Well, not me, but I mean,
No, everyone in the story.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I was like, because I am egoless, hubrisless, and
Me too. I have no ego.
I'm politically asexual in every way.
Me too.
But yeah, like I think that's the lesson of it. But like I also think that there is positives to be found. I want to ask you, Shansley, what culture, what group passed your muster? Like, what is beyond reproach in your eyes? Like,
nobody.
Okay, so the whole thing is
okay. Well, like the White Tower is terrible.
Yes,
Aiel are terrible.
Yes,
all of the nations of the world are terrible.
They are terrible. Yeah.
Everyone's terrible. Yeah, the Game of Houses is terrible.
Yeah.
Giving a baby a sword like they did to Lan is terrible.
What about the Ogier?
Well, they're kind of outside of most things, and
that's a great point, though. I do love them.
And the Ogier, like, it's hard to find fault with them for what they do.
They're a counterpoint.
But, like, they also kind of exist outside of a lot of the things. Like, they don't really have a presence in human societies. And they kind of keep to themselves. But, like, honestly, what should they be doing that they, aren't?
What about the traveling people?
Well, I don't really have a problem with the Tuatha.
Yeah! All right, go on.
Well, because they actually walk their walk. Like, they
absolutely.
say, this is what we're going to do, and that's what they do. Yep. Like, and so, like, as long as
they actually more like run away. When
I will say this as a quick shout out. I believe they were portrayed beautifully.
Yes, that's one. That's my one.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was a
my God.
They're going to use less dreadlock.
Oh, one of the best. That was beautiful. I loved it.
Maria Doyle Kennedy was a highlight.
Amazing. Yeah.
So let me ask you. So we did mention Terrio. We know knowledge now. We can travel. We have gateways. We can do all kinds of shit now as magical people.
We also have training.
How has the Fourth Age adapted to this type of potential commerce? Are there an Aes Sedai travel agency? Is there hey, you need a Quandar bridge? Great. We got the lowest prices in town. Go ahead, Alpha.
I love the hand.
So this is a thought about the Brown Aja, because they should be doing academies and they should be studying the advancements. And so the academy that Rand set up in Carian, of course, and then other cities where he has started, they're developing science, they're developing technologies. Why wouldn't the Brown Aja go see what they're doing and say, why don't we apply just a little bit of magic to it? They would totally do that. And they would advance these technologies much further, much faster, perhaps, and do different things where they might be able to provide some kind of a energy where you don't have to do a steam engine, which are obviously dangerous at this point.
Well, we also know, there's tons. You're right. Conjoin
their Brown Aja investigations with the academies that are developing the technologies of the world. So that's exactly where I was thinking Brown Aja should go. I mean, they're going to be spending the first 25 years documenting the last battle, if not more. And I gotta believe that they know that Loyal's doing his own work, so they're gonna work with Loyal and get Tom. All that, and Tom, and get all of that like on the books, on the record, and then be like, all right, these academies, we want to know what's happening, and we want to have an influence and learn more ourselves, and then they would start doing things in conjunction.
Would the academies allow them in?
Yes.
Why not?
Absolutely.
Why not?
Yeah,
because they're scientists and they want to know, and they want to have investigation. They want other people to know. How excited was Harrod Fell to tell Rand about his discoveries, and how excited was the lady that Rand had to do the show and share that she did.
I hear you, but also like, who's going to be running these things? who's going to be in charge and who's going to give access, because at
the
this
Brown Owls
point,
would probably just take over. They would probably just take over.
I think
Say, "We're in charge."
they would have state. Yeah, I think that certain people.
see, I think the Black Tower would take over and not allow this to happen because this is Rand's invention. I think the Black Tower would hold review.
I don't
I
know.
mean, imagine what they could do with Herod Fell's inventions. You know, they could see. Oh my God.
Well,
No,
so Ryan, to your point, the Black Tower may be proprietary about certain things, but the White Tower has all kinds of knowledge. They can create Quandar, they can create Terrio, they can
they have the Kindle, all of that. No, I hear you, but like the real question is like, how are they going to heal the divide? What is going to be the turning point to make men and women actually work together? Because that's not happened successfully.
Anthony first.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Like, the White Tower has 3 millennia of experience in getting around obstacles like this. And the Grey Aja, that is literally their mandate, is to find ways around issues like this. So like they have an entire Aja dedicated to like getting people on board with what the White Tower wants. So
okay, so you think the Grey is going to be instrumental in healing the divide between the Black Tower and the White Tower?
No, I'm just saying it's their job. Whether they're instrumental in it or not just depends on how good they are at their job, which is currently not that great.
I guess the question is, do you think it's even going to happen in the Fourth Age? Is this a given that we're going to be able to get to the Age of Legends heights that Rand was maybe even hoping for? Like, or is this a given that they're going to be able to do this?
I don't see Logain denying a lot of things from the Aes Sedai. I think that Logain, knowing men's viewing first of all, and
glory beyond all glories, right? Yeah,
glory beyond. But then not just that, he also has certain relationships, some very, very powerful Aes Sedai that he respects. Can you imagine if Nynaeve asked him to do something like that, to please let the Browns come to the libraries in Camelin? There is no way in hell that Logain would say no. He's the one. She's the one that gave him back the most feared thing that he was scared of. Part of his madness, even. And even by this time, you have to understand that Nynaeve Almera has probably been to the Black Tower and healed everyone else from their madness. I highly doubt that Logain would say no to any knowledge or things like that to help people.
And she's the one who gave him back his ability to channel in the first place.
Yeah.
We're contractually obligated. I'm sorry. Diljeet, thank you so much. And as far as institutions go,
all right, Jansen, you got to wrap this one out. This is you. Impromptu wrap, Jansen.
Oh, it's ready to go. Rap. My name's Jansen, and I'm fancy to be here. It's quite romantic. I am. I suck at this.
Yeah, it's really. You have no. It's not a. It's not.
All hail the creator, Bella. And the Avatar Mandarb.
Like, whoever came up with that idea, I don't know how I feel about that.
What idea?
That Bella's the creator?
Yeah, like, what is that?
I hate it. Like,
I hate it more
than
anything.
Tired of that meme. Like, that meme is like, there's so many memes, like the Steve meme. I'm ready for it to go. Like,
yeah, you know what I think? I think Steve is like sexist because why are we not like, who's Dana? Remember, like, Dana came out and we're like, no one, like, all of a sudden Dana was like 1 minute and then everyone stopped talking about Dana. It was all Steve.
But Dana ended up being awesome and Steve ended up being nuts.
She was.
Who was Steve?
I wanted Bella and Mandarb to hook up.
Yeah.
Get a Mandela.
They were just horsing around.
They're just horsing. Yeah, so that's great. They're horsing around. Yeah, so that scene where Moraine and Lan like shoved off the horses randomly and just said, "Go!" And I started like, "What? What are you doing?" Yeah. So you think the Shansi they just hooked up and they.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything serious between Bella and Mandarb. You know,
No.
there were two different points in their lives, their journey as horses. Yeah.
I know,
I
but
do
like,
think though she might be a hero of the horde.
I think Bella's a hilf. I mean, a horse. I'd like to.
TMI, brother.
Yeah.
TMI.
I think Mandarb gave Bella a ring, and that she wears around her neck on like a weird cord.
That's inappropriate.
Yeah, so she might be the Messiah. She was resurrected in the companion.
All right, so the question kind of got derailed, but I was kind of referring to commerce. And would the White Tower try to use some of these abilities for the better good for some profit?
No.
Well, we don't know how the White Tower is funded. I mean, they're given things by various and sundry kings and queens, but you know, we don't know what their books look like.
The
Well,
property
I don't
tax
think
is like
they're gonna-
40%. It's
I don't
outrageous.
think they're going to resort to crass capitalism to fund their enterprises. I don't think that'll happen.
They're going to be able to have so many different ways of making money. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They can just walk out and find ore on the ground. I mean,
Yeah. They have
Perhaps-
such an unfair advantage over everyone else in that regard. Like, money was never an issue for the White Tower.
no.
I know it wasn't an issue, but the whole, you know, tribute, they're not the church, but, you know, people tithe, of course. Do you know how do they get their funding, as it were? I mean, they have Tarvalon pretty much funnels everything to them, and Tarvalon is the New York or London of the place. But yeah, would they take that and use it as capitalism institution to
Right. Would they become the White Tower Corp?
No.
Yeah, I mean, they might invest in stuff. You know, I mean, kings and queens were. Even Fael was talking about how her and Piran were doing that in the Two Rivers. They invested in
Nice.
those guys that came over and were metal workers, and they invested in buying them the tools and everything with promises of getting more things in return. They also did that with the rug makers. So I think that the White Tower would definitely do stuff like that.
So do we seem all right? Let's go just a tiny bit deeper then. So we have that there are going to be healers going throughout the country to help heal people.
Yes.
We had talked about that.
But that's not going to be a for-profit enterprise by any means.
Yeah, but will it damage commerce within, say, the Two Rivers? So does the wisdom subside off of the patients she sees, or is she given
No.
a village stipend?
She is given a stipend. Like, the wisdom of Emmons Field isn't, you know, she's not conducting transactions. Like, she has her livelihood provided by the city, or, you know, because of her position. Like, it's
That
not
wasn't
like,
what
well,
Nynaeve-
you know.
Well,
Yeah,
when
so-
Nynaeve went to that fishmonger woman, it seems like there was a transaction made. She
That was
gave
Tyr,
it
though.
silver.
That was in Tyr.
they say?
And you have to
Yeah,
remember
right.
what Amyrlin said about Tyr and also in Amadicia is that was always a side gig for people, because especially the women, because the White Cloaks and because of the way that people in Tyr saw channelers, they had hedge doctors down there. The men.
So that's what I'm saying. Jansen, you're making my point. So would the White Tower suddenly become like a Kaiser Permanente coming in and wiping out commerce for all these little doctors?
No, because
No.
they will only step in cases where one power healing is needed, and that's not
Yeah,
your
not everyone,
bread and
yeah.
butter.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say if they have hospitals, they might employ these people as doctors into their hospital. They're probably the best people for the job, even as nurses and things like that. I think that because of Nynaeve Almira being as high up in the Yellow Aja that she's going to be, I think that they're not going to start looking away at herbs and things like that and field medicine, because if Nynaeve hadn't known that, she wouldn't have been able to help save the world.
And I
So-
think Nynaeve would also use the resources of the Aes Sedai to help train wisdoms in wisdom
I agree.
You know what I mean? It's like she would see a partnership between wisdoms and hedge wizards and things like that and the Aes Sedai, and she would want to nurture that.
I agree with that. I definitely think we can do that.
But what would stop the White Tower from being like an Amazon.com? What would stop them from?
Because they are not as polarized in one direction. There's 7 factions loosely affiliated with one another to some extent, and like there's no way that they would be that on the same page. Like yellows would never agree to that. You know,
so Cadsuane cannot be a Bezos, cannot be a Elon Musk.
Reds would never agree to it.
They don't need to be.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to be. They're all going to be very wealthy. I think that.
But if you want to get to the moon, baby, you gotta.
Well, see, the Greys would want that, and everyone else would be like, "No, we're not doing that, Greys. Just shut up."
All right. So my proposition is that the Black Tower will very quickly entrench themselves in all societies. Yeah, and I think that the Aes Sedai are going to be slow to understand that the importance of that. And I think like the Black Tower is more likely to be like establishing like medical facilities and like things that are going to be like helping humans, right? And I think and I think there's going to be an internal, not an internal conflict, an actual conflict between like the White Tower machinations and the Black Tower's machinations. Well, the Black Tower is one. I think what was the conflict is like the White Tower is not going to want the people to be turning literally against them because the Black Tower is just going to be giving them what they need.
But why is one a natural product of the other? Like just because
the White Tower is not the White Tower has been in power for hundreds of years. They've not done it. I'm suggesting the Black Tower will do it, and the White Tower is going to be like, oh, where are we when all the society's needs are being met by the Black Tower?
I think this is a false binary. I don't think that the White Tower necessarily sees the activities of the Black Tower as a threat to their own mandate or their own. Like, if the Black Tower wants to fill this void, more power to them. Let them do that. If there is a need that the Black Tower can serve, that's all to the good. The White Tower can find some other thing that they can do. Well, like, I don't see that the Black Tower rising in prominence. That's going to happen anyway, and everyone knows that.
Remember,
the Black Tower is going to...
they're
gonna the Black Tower is gonna naturally kind of like evolve into that because they're gonna have so many new ideas coming in from all the other men coming into the tower, and they are not like, they don't have this preconceived notion. Logain's gonna listen to these ideas and say, "Oh, that's a good idea, and that's a good idea, and that's a good idea, and yeah, you take care of that, and you're a captain of that, and you go here if you like that idea, you take it and run." I think he's gonna let the men do what the men have an idea to do, and that'll be the influence of the Black Tower, and I think that's going to grow in each society, and that might threaten the White Tower.
Well, remember, Cadsuane knows men's viewing too.
Any power come up is going to threaten the White Tower, but they're going to have the connection that we're talking about with the Reds and with Pavara, so hopefully they'll be able to not let it threaten them so that they have to attack back and make sure that the Black Tower doesn't get that kind of influence, because they really need to work together, and I want to see them work together, and they should be smart enough to realize that working together is how it happened in the Second Age, being the servants of all and showing by their actions that they can be trusted.
And I think too much knowledge out there. There's going to be way too much knowledge out there from the Age of Legends and what they know, and it's just. And also remember, guys, men's viewing, and men's still alive too, but Cadsuane knows Logain's future as well.
Yeah, bound for glory unknown to man. Like, so when we take that in consideration, that's what I'm talking about. I think like he's going to be able to like positively influence the world in a way that the White Tower is not. And I think the White Tower's failed. It's not a gender thing. It's like the White Tower has been embroiled in fucking politics up to their chin, and I think the Black Tower is just going to be there for the people. They're going to be the fucking Bernie Sanders going out and like helping the common folk while the White Tower is still trying to involve themselves in politics. And once they undercut them because they're actually helping the people as opposed to helping the White Tower's needs and wants, like they're going to be like, I think they're going to be marginalized.
Well,
and I think
but if that's what happens, then that's what needs to happen. You know, like if the White Tower can be marginalized by the Black Tower because the Black Tower fills a void in the public good, then that's exactly what should happen. But I don't think that the White Tower is that like I don't think the Black Tower wants to do things that is gonna like take away from what the White Tower themselves want to do. You know what I mean? It's like,
I'm sure I assume they have the same goals.
They don't.
But I don't. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't assume. I don't assume that actually.
They don't.
The White Tower has proven to be like nefarious in so many ways, and 20% of them are Black Aja, which is not a good percentage.
Well, not anymore. Thanks, Varen.
You're right. Yeah, good on that. But that just showed how like vulnerable that whole methodology was.
Well,
Jansen, real quickly though, Jansen, we're at 90 minutes. How are you doing? Do you need to jump out?
Very soon.
All right, yeah, let's wrap this puppy up. I think we just need to agree to have another episode talking about this. There's so much. This is fertile ground. We haven't even gotten into some of the things I was trying to come into play. But before we go, do you guys drink coffee? Who here drinks coffee? Raise your hand. Can I see some hands? All right. So we have a coffee sponsor, which is this is a very real thing. People think our sponsors are jokes. No, this is a real thing. This is a real coffee sponsor. And if you follow the website and the code, you will get 5% off. Let's check out this ad.
Away the Leaf are proud to be partnering with Tourist Hat Coffee Company. Tourist Hat Coffee Company is a family-owned business with a strong in giving back to the community. Tourist Hat Coffee Company is a social purpose business whose mission is to bring people the absolute best in small batch coffee while supporting children at home and around the world. And if you go to touristhatcoffeecompany.com and use the promo code LEAF2022, you'll get 5% off your entire order. We hope Tourist Hat Coffee Company becomes your family's coffee of choice. Remember, a part of each order goes to an amazing charity and helps allow us to continue doing this show each and every week. So go to touristhatcoffeecompany.com and use promo code LEAF2022 and receive 5% off your entire order.
Oh yeah, so Tourist Hat Coffee Company.
Yep. They're a small, local, family-owned business. They are. I'm really proud to be partnering with them.
All right, so you got a bag, Dan. You got.
I did. I just had the Tanzania today. I got espresso as well that I have not tried yet. The Tanzania was fantastic. Fantastic. It was very bright, nice, but it had a darkness to it. It was, it was really good. This was the first time I had it, and I was excited to have it. And it did not let me down. I like grinding my own beans. I like making my own coffee. So
yeah. So
Ryan, it was shockingly inexpensive. I mean, you can find for the same amount of volume, it's much more expensive. They're like $11 or like $10.50.
Yeah, so they sell 12-ounce bags for 14-ounce bags. Thank you, brother. 14-ounce bags for $10.50 or $11, which you will not find that anywhere for gourmet coffee, and you will have to pay for shipping, but the shipping will offset the cost of the beans. Everything's amazing, seriously. And they are a.
Ryan met them at a farmer's market. This is a father and son deal. Cool. They're hustling. They're meeting the community.
I didn't know
and
that.
We are their first sponsorship as well as our first sponsorship as well. So, guys, go support it. Just buy a bag. Just see if you like it. Would you?
Yeah. So promo code LEAF 2022, and every proceeds from every bag sold will go to childhood issues around the world, be it education or re-education. And go to their website to see the mission statement. Everyone, thank you for an amazing show. Chancey, where can people find you? Do you want?
Where can we find you? Your address? I want to find you.
You can find me. You can find all my. Well, you can find all my song parodies on my Shansony Shenanigans channel. I've got 17 of them now. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So like, if you care about that stuff,
Your song choices are top notch. I always think,
hair flips.
Why would you think of that song? And it's perfect. It's so good.
So yeah, if you like song parodies, go listen to them, and if you don't, well then maybe don't.
And you also have like another channel about figurines. Yes,
dolls.
no?
Yeah, I have a doll
yeah.
channel. So if you like dolls, I haven't really made any doll videos lately because they just take way much more work.
They really are. No, yeah, she made 3 doll videos and they're amazing. But yeah, I can see that.
That stuff takes
The
a lot
song
of
parodies
work.
are way easier. It's just like done. Yeah.
I used to work right across the street from the Mattel corporate building in El Segundo, and
he has cancer from all the plastic fumes.
I have so much cancer.
Elfwitch, where can we find you?
Well, I have a Twitter account, and so I follow a bunch of Wheel of Time people, but I don't really post much. I should probably change that, but I never know. Like,
you're a creator now. You're a content creator, Elfwitch. Everything's changed.
Everything's changed.
Okay, I'll try to
embrace your new role.
All right. Well, if you don't be surprised if you see barbershop harmony videos on my content creation channel, then I'll have to actually put something like that because my course just went to internationals because we qualified. For 2020,
what is that?
And we finally did it in 2020.
Very nice.
My God. So define your terms. You went to internationals. What does that mean?
So in the Sweet Adeline's world, which is barbershop harmony, which is all a cappella singing, chorus, and quartet competition. International, we have lots of different people from around the world, and we qualified in 2019, which means we were one of the top 5 small choruses. We qualified in the small chorus, got one of the top scores at our regional competition, so we were invited to go to internationals. And so we were supposed to go in 2020. It didn't happen until last month.
Yeah. So tell us about it. And then what was it like?
It was great. This is actually the second time we qualified. The first time we qualified, we went with 40 ladies to sing. But the second time we qualified, we only went with 18. And so there was only 4 choruses that competed. We got 4th in the world out of the 4 that were in.
Oh my gosh.
Elfwitch, can you do like a 4-part harmony of the Wheel of Time Amazon theme song?
I have thoughts on competing in the parody competition with some 4-part harmony stuff. So you
yeah.
That's cool. Do it.
I would say
a baritone.
If you don't call Dan. If you need anyone, don't call Dan or I. We are toned down.
Okay.
All right, Jansen. Before we leave, where can we find you? What are you working on? Anything you have to promote?
Right now, I'm working on an independent film with a buddy of mine named Shane, and we'll have more info on it in a couple of weeks. Also, a quick something I just found out. Channing Tatum just got cast in Wheel of Time.
Seriously?
What?
That's the rumor that I just got.
Oh, breaking news, Ryan!
It's a rumor. I just got it. I'm 80% sure it's true.
Sorry, so who could he be? He's a Forsaken. He has to be a Forsaken.
He's got to be a Forsaken, right?
He's Asmodean.
I know he's Lord Gabriel.
I think it could possibly be Janduin.
What is that? I'm looking it up right now. This is crazy.
Elfwitch, what did you say?
Janduin, I think he should be Samael with the scar.
I'm thinking Ravine. I think he's Lord Gabriel.
I don't see him as a Forsaken.
Lord Gabriel.
No.
I don't see him as a bad guy at all.
Oh,
Like,
no,
I think he'll be
him as Ruark.
yeah.
Is he Galad?
No.
No, he's told to be glad.
So this is
Is he the perfect human?
This is unverified. Everyone, this is unverified. I'm Googling. I can't find anything. I'm Googling.
No, this is from Jansenpedia.
Yeah, I just got it right.
All right, so maybe it's a spoof.
Maybe.
Oh, he said he's 80% sure, Ryan.
Who would who would he play though? Honest to God, just fan cast Channing Tatum. I hear he has an amazing general. I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
now I'm 20% sure.
Okay, so yeah, this is the spoof. Wasn't he in like the male stripper show?
Yeah.
Magic
So-
Mike?
Yeah. I
He
haven't
was
seen it.
Magic Mike, yeah.
That's how he became famous. That's what he was doing before he ever acted. He was a male stripper.
Yeah, that was like his
All right.
story.
Was
that
that
movie is overrated, by the way. Like, I was
so
like,
that wasn't a prosthetic?
so great.
That's a prosthetic.
I can see Val and Luca.
Yeah, I don't see him as Galad. He's not Galad material.
Oh,
Galad is
Roniel,
way
I love
too.
Roniel.
All right, so Jansen, we got to talk. We can't do this to the public live.
I
almost-
love it, Ryan.
I-
Ryan, we're going to point back to this.
You know
If Channing Tatum in 2 months is announced, we got to post this with our date and be like,
What? Look at this! Look at this!
I have
go.
to apologize. I think somebody knew I was on this show and did this to me on purpose.
Hey, you got Rick.
I hear you.
It happens to all of us.
Guys,
You know what though? You provided a little fun. That was very fun.
Yeah, it was fun to talk about.
all right.
Guys, this has been a blast. Elf Witch and Chancey, thank you so much for talking some White Tower with us, speculating. This is what Tavern Talk's all about. It's just throwing some guesses out, you know.
I'm
See what
happy
we
to
can
be
do.
here to argue with puppets. It's my favorite
Yeah,
thing.
but like I really think we just if there's a flan, this is like the crispy crust of the flan. We need to get into the jelly
crispy
innards.
crust. The yummy
love
caramel
flan.
on top.
I love flan. There's a whole billboard where it's like instead of what does God have a plan for you? Someone put does God have a flan for you?
Oh, that's good. I hope so.
And I'm all about that. I love flan. I love God's flan.
Chancey, you have been one of our oldest and dearest friends. Thank you again for
Definitely one of
we
the
gotta
oldest.
get you on. And Elf Witch, I love every time that you are on and we speak. You elevate all of our endeavors here.
Thank you. Very flattering. Flattery will get you everywhere.
That's what I'm trying. I'm trying to get everywhere.
Right.
Oh.
Without leaving the confines of our homes. Yes. That's these tones. The show is wrapping up. Thank you, everybody. Humans on all the spectrums for joining the Tavern Talk. We're going to continue the After the Book series. We'll let you know what is coming up soon. Jesus, Chancey, you're dancing amazing. Elfwitch, thank you so much. Brother Dan, you're not losing one move. Like you are.
No.
Yeah.
I'm turning 50 next week, and I dance like John Travolta.
I'm glad you announced that. Yeah, brother Dan is turning 50. He has a whole stash of heroin he's going to do.
So much heroin. So much.
All right, humans on the spectrums, we are out of here. We'll see you on Tuesday for our 99th episode of our First Time Reader Show. 2 weeks into our 100th episode. It's really astounding. Elfwitch, if you haven't experienced it, it's amazing. We really cut loose on Tuesdays. Brother Dan, I'm distracted by this. This is like amazing. Oh, you're climbing the rope. Okay, come on, bring it down. Oh, you're going to the jungle gym? Bringing it down. All right, everyone, we'll see you soon. Love you. As always, run for your lives because this is the way to live.